Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another night of the Nova Tournament. Playday-8 it will be today. We will have a few lovely games lined up for you guys. Not too many though, but we'll get into that in just a little while. KJ, he'll be joining me today. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good as always, Elijah. We ran up the ranked before, and now we're ready for some comp games. So I'm keen to get into it. We got a pretty nasty play day today with some really good matchups. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what comes of these later great weeks. We've got only 3 games today, what usually we would have 4. See, Panic as well were supposed to be the very first game of today, but unfortunately to the arena of they are disbanding as a team. Panic will take that 7-0 win, but our first game tonight will be Naughty Sausages up against Trident, who are currently on a 3-week win streak.
Yeah, they've been doing pretty good recently. I think we blessed them when we finally got to cast them, Elijah, and they've been on a roll. But then after that, we have Nutty Gaming taking on NDE. And to finish us off, we got that Kill Squad versus Bandits. And that one there at the end, that's a real sort of decider, I'd like to say. If Kill Squad win that definitely can upset Bandits and change the leaderboard quite a bit. Because obviously Panic getting that free victory, they're in that second place. If Bandits lose, they will lose that top spot to Panic. So they got to win this one. They got to win this one. So that'll be an interesting one for sure.
Definitely, I got to agree with that for sure because the higher you are in the leaderboard currently, it has a lot of advantages in the exciting next coming weeks that we have with an eventual bracket. We can see the leaderboard here with Bandits. They're sitting nice and comfy up top, followed by Panic into that second place, Kill Squad following into the third, and so fourth. Trident, although having a very successful last few weeks, they've climbed pretty high in the leaderboard, but they still remain in the 6th spot. I wonder if they can get another one today. They should be able to climb just a little bit.
It is. They've definitely climbed a lot from those previous weeks. They were towards the bottom, but, as the play days continue to be played out and they continue to be on that win streak, they've been able to move up quite a bit. And the thing is, we're edging that little bit closer, Elijah, to the playoffs. And I think we're going to get that bracket up now. And it's the top 6. So obviously, if you're 5th and 6th place, you get to be in that wonderful little lower bracket there. But for the top part, the winners brackets, 1st place takes on 4th place. Because obviously, if you come 1st in the tournament, generally, the 4th place team will be a little bit easier than the 2nd or 3rd place. But, that's not always true. But being that 1st place, you have that little bit of an advantage, But then that 2nd and 3rd place, they, try and take each other on to go to that winner bracket semi-final, and then whoever wins out of that game goes to the grand final, is locked in for that. But in the terms of how the lower bracket works, obviously the winner of the 5th place 6th place game goes on to then take on the loser of round 1 of the lower bracket, so that 2nd place 3rd place game. And then after that, it is the loser of the round 1 winners bracket, the higher one, the 1st place 4th place game. And then after that, it's the semi-final between the loser of the winner bracket semi-final and then the winner of the one before, and then that decides us for the 2 in the grand final. So nice little playoffs bracket that the good old Chef Jeff came up with, and Alex was lovely enough to create visually for us. But keen to see it all happen, Elijah, and it's good to see.
I'm very excited, that's for sure. And the thing I love about the playoffs and as we move further into the weeks is that it stops becoming a best of one and sort of plays into the stamina that these teams can provide and how well they can withhold their, how they play throughout the days. Because a lot of people, they might be able to get those flukes. They're on a map that they're more comfortable than the other team. But when you have those BO3s and you have to constantly switch maps and sort of test how well you can withhold amongst hours and hours of playing, then it completely changes up which team could potentially be the better one. So if you are in that higher place, maybe you're in that 1st place, 2nd place, maybe even 3rd, and your stamina isn't as well coped as maybe the fourth or the fifth place, you might be able to get, like, you can see a better team. You can see them arise, and I'm looking forward to seeing that come underway. But in terms of the map that we have first, though, we'll head into our map bans and see if we can get the players in the lobby, as we'll see Naughty Sausages go up against Trident.
Definitely I'd like to say a deciding match as we come to these last few weeks. You know, you need to try and get these last few wins under your belt so that you can move, around that, leaderboard that we were talking about earlier, and really sort of put you on that playoff bracket that we also just saw. And as we see it, Elijah, we get to see your beautiful clubhouse. And we get to see Trident, which is someone that, a team that you've been liking to see as well. So Trident get to defend first on Clubhouse. But look at those bans. We're going to go to an Oregon. Luckily, we didn't get to go to that Oregon. We have an issue with that Oregon, but it's a Clubhouse.
I do like the clubhouse. Thankfully, like you said, we're not going to go to that classic Oregon that we've seen so much throughout this season, but we'll be going to that clubhouse instead, which is a map that has been in the comp scene for what seems like forever, and it has been a comp favorite as well, I would like to say. So it's very exciting to see Trident start off on the defensive clubhouse as well, so they'll have that comfortability there, but it's not too comfortable. In terms of the way you push clubhouse, it can completely change the narrative altogether and how it is played, especially in terms of the bans as well that they can pick. If you try to get rid of maybe that Maverick, it can completely change the way it plays up. But I'm excited to see what these boys are cooking, especially lately with Trident on their 3-week win streak. You could imagine that they have come prepared for this clubhouse game. Hopefully Naughty Sausages has come just as.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an even sort of matchup. I think both teams have been playing sort of well, and it's really who is playing well tonight and who has the energy, who has the the tricks up the sleeve, and all the cards, I guess you could say. Because Clubhouse, like you said, it's been in the map pool for ages. So if you don't sort of do something different, catch the enemy off guard, they're gonna know what you're gonna do, and they're gonna know how you're gonna play it. So you gotta have something new. You gotta bring something new to the table, and I'd imagine both teams want to do exactly that. But in terms of the operators that we're gonna see banned, because Clubhouse, it can have a lot of variety in what we can ban, and we've seen quite a lot of different operators banned. What do you think, Elijah? What do we reckon? What are we thinking?
There are just so many options. This map, Clubhouse, it is very versatile, like you just brought up. Like, there are too many different things, and it's all accompanied by the playstyle that you've maybe even trained for. Because now's the time to sort of break out the strats. You need to secure yourselves, because these games, they become more and more important the more you move in as we're going into the playoffs. Now you want to secure that spot, so depending on what your playstyles are, I mean, we've seen in different regions how they utilize Capiteo, and that could be a huge problem as well. But we've seen throughout the days of this particular season that Azami has been a huge issue for players if they're trying to take control of that garage as well. It's very hard to go against that, especially if it's accompanied by like a Jaeger ADS. It completely can change the way that you're holding that garage. So if you choose to get rid of her, you can change it up completely. Maybe even a Monty, because that is a super strong spearhead of attack as well in terms of taking control. There are just so many different things that you could get rid of that could alleviate the pressure from both the attack and the defense. So depending on what these teams are looking forward to doing, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and I think with the way that both teams play, I think Trident, they're very sort of structured. They like to play off each other really well, and they like to. They're not really like heavy sort of frag run in. Let's just bang bang. They're very coordinated when it comes down to it, and I think Naughty Sausages for the most part as well. They like to take their time with things too. They have their moments where they sort of go all guns blazing, but really, it's who feels more coordinated today, who has the better calls, the better shot calls, and I'm keen to see it. But I think the real question is, Elijah, who do you have your money on winning this game specifically?
Look, throughout these last 3 weeks, we've had interview after interview with our boy Sal, who is the coach of Trident. They have had a very, very good run-up lately of just consistently winning without any problems yet. But maybe Naughty Sausages are here to change that and end their reign of their victory. I mean, who knows? It's anybody's game, really. It hasn't even begun yet. But if I got to pick my side, I want Trident to continue their win streak. I love seeing them. I love speaking to Sal. He's a good man. Very positive vibes. I love it. I love seeing it. So I'm going to go again. Trident. That's our boys.
Yeah, I think Naughty Sausages will definitely put up a good fight, but for the most part, I'd love to, see Trident take another W. They've been playing so well, and why not continue that streak? And obviously, Sarli putting in the work. It'd be awesome to see the boys, continue to show that the work that they're putting in, as well as the work that he's putting in, all paying off. But, that's not to say that Naughty Sausages aren't doing homework of their own. I'm sure there's plenty of things that they could have analyzed that Trident are doing as well. And maybe they have some, counters up their sleeve and maybe they can upset us. But in terms of predictions, we could go to the prediction page and see what us, as well as the other casters and people of the tournament, have predicted for today. Once we wait for those lovely people to get into the lobby. And there's the beautiful graphic up there. So, for this game,
nice looking.
It is.
I mean, everybody guessed Panic, right? I mean, we kind of got the easy part of that, knowing that Arena had disbanded. We got to pick Panic and easily take that win there. Interestingly enough, though, 2 of the people on our staff team picked Naughty Sausages instead of Trident. You can see you and I both picking up that Trident, but Naughty Sausages on Tiaki's side and Kratos himself, they've chosen to go for Naughty Sausages instead. So we'll be able to see that come into effect as all the players are already in the lobby. So we'll go back to the predictions later on. We can see for the next few games, but looks like our Clubhouse game is ready, where Naughty Sausages will be going up against Trident for a best of 1.
Best of 1, and that's the thing that we were talking about. Obviously, with the normal season, it's a best of 1, so you're able to do those flukes, do those sort of crazy plays that you were talking about, but you have to only have the energy for this one map. But when it comes to those playoffs, that will happen very shortly in the next few weeks. You gotta have the energy to go through, 2 maps minimum, maybe 3. So it'll be interesting to see. But first ban of this game to come out, and it'll be the Habana. So not an unusual ban for Clubhouse, but definitely a strong one. Gonna be able to use those hatches a little bit safer for defenders. They're able to hide underneath them, maybe trick them a little bit easier, as you have to put ace charges or thermites or those, can openers. But for the most part, a lot easier to trick.
Jackal to follow up as well, and that's a usual ban that you would see as well. I got to follow up for the second one, but I like it. There is a lot of roaming potential in Clubhouse, which we've seen from time and time again. Not many teams like to bunker down immediately. They like to see if they can get an early pick, do some damage, waste some time. You'll be able to do that a lot easier with Jackal out of play. So Cade will follow up as the very third ban, and to accompany that Habana ban, it's going to make it a little bit harder for the defenders to trick. They're sort of countering out each other now.
Yeah, obviously Cade being off the board, it just makes those hatches a little bit easier to get for the attacking side. So Naughty Sausages thinking of that ahead as they start out on that attack. But the Azami ban to follow, and I think that's a good choice from Trident. We were talking, well, you were talking just before how strong Azami is pretty much on any map that you play. Just so much versatility and, creativity as well with the angles that you can create with those Kiba barriers. So her being off the board, going to make it a little bit hard for defenders to play those cheeky off angles. But that means that Solus is still in play, Valkyrie is still in play, and look at who is using it. Pew and Shuri on the side, Trident, both using those intel gathering characters, and they're going to abuse it for the most part. But Mirror is also in play, so I'd wonder if on the top floor sites they opt to choose that one as well. But they're running that Jaeger, which we like to see, but sometimes we don't see too often, especially on a basement site. But he's going to be safe there in blue. But I'm just liking this lineup in general from both teams.
It's a little bit different. You don't normally see that this is the common lineup, and you can tell already that Trident are making use of the fact that Jackal has been removed from play. Zabi is running that Vigil. And you've got a lot of roamers who are up as well. Shuri to get rid of the intel as well, being able to utilize that Solus ability and see that those pre-placed drones have already been set up nicely into his garage entrance. So you can imagine that him reading into that, kind of relay that information back to his team and let them know that, hey, they could potentially go for a garage push to kick us off here, as well as the gunfire giving away the positions of the spawns. You can say Hale's already setting himself up in a position to try to take stock. But there's a little bit of a split sweep push coming out by Naughty Sausages here, just trying to get as much intel well as you can in terms of the roam of Trident. Hill's already getting control of the strip club as well by a call to try and see if he can spot out any of these potential roamers, but none to be heard of just yet and no one to be punished.
Yeah, and for the most part, everyone is back on the side apart from this Vigil, so he's going to be careful of this Dokkaebi. I do believe she's lurking in that public bathroom there, but he's not careful. Some pre-fires through the wall. Nothing going to connect just yet, but Harry's there on the main stairs to back up the Dokkaebi if she was to fall. But 1 minute into the round, and for the most part, Noisy Sausages, they've got that top floor control. They have secured that and any sort of flank potential for now, but now they got to worry about the site. Now they got to start getting these hatches open and start pressuring these positions of the players from below. But obviously no Habana. I think the Buck's going to try. No hard can openers on that. But Harry does have them. So not all is lost.
Well, I do believe he did successfully get the motor open now, so you can imagine that his next checklist is heading over to that kitchen as well. So you can see him already making his way how he's going to be taking control of that motor hatch. They're going to try and trick it though. There is potential. Zebby does have 2 impacts as well. I mean, almost every single player on the side of Trident, they all have impacts as well. One just being distributed as Zebby tries to trick, but nothing to connect just yet as Orion's the bottom of the main stairs, accompanied by Hill as well. Call to reveal some of the positions, but nobody to be picked up just yet as Zebby is trying to hold down this hatch with his life. With only 59 seconds left on the ball for this team to make their execute come underway. Smokes are going to be distributed, make it a little bit harder for them to get those lines of sight, but Hale is going to do a nice drop into Moto. No kills to go out just yet though. He does have 1 frag grenade still in his hands, and I don't believe they know that he's there just yet. He's trying to get the picks, but Papa's a little bit stuck onto that rotate. Looks like they're going to come down to just a hellfire of gunfights at the moment as the LMG does a lot of damage, but not enough to down him just yet. Orion's able to pick up the first kill, immediately traded by Zebby though, but Orion finds the second kill of the round, goes for the third, and he finds it easy as the kills go all across the board, but in the way of Naughty Sausages, and they'll take the very first round.
Wow. What an explosion from Naughty Sausages. You know, the time was ticking, but they were able to secure those kills with Orion just frying there through the triple wall, and Trident not quite ready for it. So, first round to Naughty Sausages, and they're going to switch things up. They don't want to have a repeat of that round. They're going to go to that gym bedroom site now. They want to keep it moving. So, we'll see how they choose to hold it. But for the most part, in terms of the operator lineup for the defense, pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. They're bringing the frost mat for these jump-ins of these windows, as a lot of teams like to jump in late, especially through those con and gym windows. But having that frost mat there in the bathroom is also a cheeky one, because you either have to take the gunfight with the person in the bathroom or shoot the frost mat. And either way, you're going to find yourself victim to one or the other.
It's good little knowledge there for you guys to use in your own games if you weren't aware of it. Be able to utilize that to throw an attacker off guard is trying to play aggressive. But I'm liking the setup at the moment. Castle being brought to cut off those sight lines as well. And I got to imagine, like last round, I wanted to bring it up again. Although it was really late, Naughty Sausages held their mental together perfectly. You know, the time was ticking, you were really low, and they still stayed composed. They weren't feeling the pressure too much though, and in the end, they ended up winning the round, even though there was like 20 seconds left. So I gotta say, it's quite commendable by them. They're gonna have to try to see if they can do it again, or will Trident, will they show them back? You see it already, trying to get a little bit of aggressive. You're removing some of those castle barricades. Help add some pressure back to anyone potentially trying to rotate from cache over to master bedroom to get back to site. Gonna have to be a little bit wary of that.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, obviously playing Castle, Taz, a man after your own heart, Elijah. His barricades can be destroyed, especially when you bring a sledge and an ash. A lot of destructibility available to the attacking side, so they're not able to stay secure for too long. But Taz, he's holding up these red stairs. He's got some ADSs to back him up, and Sweat, he's going to find the opening kill onto the Thatcher. So that is a good frag to get early, but I do believe the wall is already open here on the CC side. I don't know if they got the gym wall open already.
They did. They got Spyro open easily. Yeah.
So his job is not needed anymore, but that life is needed, and having that off the board is going to sort of cost Naughty Sausages. They aren't able to find that pick back sooner or later.
Still trying to hold up to the top of the reds. He will do a lot of damage to Hale, but not enough to down him yet, as the UMP doesn't have enough damage in its behind to potentially make an effect like that. But at least C4 will be able to collect Hale up, and they will be able to find the second kill in the round as Sweat is having a good round so far. Orion, though, on the main stairs, though, a little bit of a timing issue there, but he might be unable to collect up the kill onto Shuri. He will do it onto Harry M, though, and make his way into the bathroom, though. Look at all these players that are on Trident, ready to pick it up and play each other's refrags, though, as it is a 5v1. He's got a lot left to do. His position will be revealed, and a lot of damage will be done in the process, leaving Orion in a really tough position and unable to do anything. He will do all he can, though, but it won't be enough against the flawless of Trident, and they'll take it to an even 1-1.
That was definitely a response from last round. They seem a lot more comfortable on that gym bedroom side, and I think, you know, flawless round for Trident. That's definitely going to sort of waken up their motivation to push through these rounds, and I think Naughty Sausages, they got to sort of relook their attack on that one and think, where did we go wrong? If they go there again. But back to that basement site, Trident think with that win above, they can translate it to another win down here, but they're running the same sort of operators.
Little less so on the side of Naughty Sausages, though, as you can see Harry M opting to bring that Montaigne, which is what we talked about just in that ban phase, or before the ban phase rather, about how strong Monty can be on a map like Clubhouse in general. It's going to be accompanied by Hills, who is running that Dokkaebi on that global utility, which is, I got to imagine, going to do the exact same thing as last round, trying to take that strip control first, potentially catching off some of these late roamers, which is Zebi. They are running the same lineup on the side of Trident, so they're definitely looking to fix those issues that they had in that first round. Now that they've had that morale boost after winning the second, they're going to have to fix up their issues, though, if they hope on changing the narrative of what was the first round.
Yeah, I would imagine that Trident don't want to have a repeat of the first round, and I think that they would learn what they did wrong. And I think, for the most part, Naughty Sausages, they're going to try and switch things up as well. I would imagine they wouldn't want to play the same, as it did come down to those dire sort of seconds. So hopefully Trident and Naughty Sausages can bring something new here. And it looks like they're doubling up here in Strip to try and deal with this Vigil playing on this mid-main. But he's using his visual scanner. Is he going to get spotted out by the drone? Are they going to give that communication, going to relay that info? But the phone calls go out, and he's going to rotate back safely back to the site. He doesn't want to risk losing his life early.
Naughty Sausages at the moment just playing that caution game, making sure that they don't lose any of these early lives that could become detrimental in the later parts of the round. Essentially trading that time for survivability in the end, but no early picks are going to go out, and that's exactly where you want to be if you are on the side of Naughty Sausages, just making sure you are clearing out these roamers so they don't potentially cost you the round in the later execution. Now they just need to work through their checklist now and try to get that vertical holes done, but you can see Life is already doing into the kitchen as well as he's made his way. Moto Hatch has already been opened as well, so at the moment Naughty Sausage is doing really well for time.
Yeah, I think that, you know, they've got plenty of time to work with if they want to work out how they want to get that plant down once again. And even if it comes down to those last 20 seconds, they have a lot of time to work out how they want to deal with that. And this time, you'd hope if you're Trident, you're ready for that sort of explosion. If not, you're going to lose another round down here on the basement, which for the most part is, I'd like to say, a little bit more defender-sided. But with what Naughty Sausages have been doing, they've been able to get the control quite well. So it might be in their hands a little bit more than it is Trident's. But impact tricking that hatch, that's definitely going to help you if you're Trident. Hills, he's forced to sort of drop and make something of the control that is given to them. But Pew, he's going to swing this. He's not going to find one. He's going to find two onto Hills and Orion. That's your thermite off the board. He was going to open up that triple wall once again. And that limits Naughty Sausages' options even further.
Well, they did try to double up there, and leaving up that moto hatch completely opened without anybody watching it left him the opportunity to swing, and he was able to pick up 2 as well, leaving it to a 5v3 for the rest of them to try to clean up the mess. But there's no time for them left to do so. They'll have to do a split execute now as you try to take their blue control. Sweat's able to capitalize on a first kill, but immediate 2 trades for both the side. Naughty and Trident will pick up ones for themselves as well. Pre-fires by Harry M won't be able to connect, sorry, but time will run out in the end, and Trident, they'll take themselves a victory. So they did clean up exactly what we talked about, KJ. In the end, they worked out their issues, and they got to weave their way through the attack side of Naughty Sausages and collect themselves up another round, and they'll take themselves ahead for the very first time of the matchup.
Yeah, even though they had that vert, the buck that made the vert in the kitchen, he wasn't quite able to open up the hatch. They were able to trick it rather safely, and I think it was just good adaptation from Trident. They were able to see where they went wrong and sort of work their way around the way that Naughty Sausages were planning to attack. And by eliminating that hatch from being opened, it forced them to go for that Moto Church push once again. And that's exactly what Trident wanted. And luckily for Pew, he was able to capitalize onto those 2 in that short hallway on that triple wall. And that, I'd like to say, was the deciding sort of kills for swaying the round in the favor of Trident.
Well, that's what happened into that first round, right? As soon as Naughty Sausages were able to get that triple wall up on Church, that is essentially what got them to be able to capitalize against Trident and get all of those kills. Now, that was shut down in that last round, and it completely changed the way that they tried to attack and execute, so it left Trident in a more favorable position. But they'll have to do it here as well, as they've got a Monty who's being able to run again. But this time we're on CC, and Monty is the strongest, I would say, for this site, specifically in this map, for trying to take that CC control. You've got a lot left to deal with. Thankfully, though, you've got those Thatchers that can help you deal with those Legion Mines if they become an issue in trying to take control. You can see you've already got that main breach open thanks to Thatcher being left in play, the unsuccessful bandit trick by Pew. Give it up to Naughty Sausages.
Yeah, I think the play there, the reason that the bandit couldn't trick was because of those Zephyr stuns, and that is a good opening frag to get for the attacking side. Killing that Rafters player is definitely going to help you get onto this side and get that a little bit closer for the execute. And Taz, he's going for a cheeky play. Is he going to jump out of this, Elijah?
Oh, there was one main door as well left, managing to take the most hurt in that damage, and he's going to leave himself in a lower HP. Unable to get the kill, though. It will elude you. You'll have to get back to the site to help support the rest of your team, but full garage control has been forfeited to the sides of Naughty Sausages at the moment. No more kills to be met just of yet, though, but you have got the players downstairs, as Taz, he does have a C4 in his hand as well for this potential denial, and the plant will go down. The information will be relayed, and the C4 will be able to connect without a problem and take it down to a 4v4 now, but immediate trades by both Naughty Sausages and Trident will even it up to a 3v2, but Papa to change the narrative to take it to a 3v2 now as he managed to get the kill onto Life. Leave it in a harder position as Hills tries to get the player onto Red, but he's made his way into sight. Doesn't look like they're too aware of him yet. He is a little bit wary of the C4, but he'll take a little bit of damage to the garage control as well. Hale to capitalize on top of that kill and take it to a 2v2, and they're stalling out.
They are, but they have the time to work with. 1 minute, and they're getting that plant down now, and no one below, no C4s. They're going to be careful of these claymores here. Does he know? Hills, though, on the plat. They're able to find not 1, but 2 for that post plan, and very quick kills for him. But it was looking a bit rough for Naughty Sausages there, but they were able to, stay composed, stay structured. They were able to work those picks back and get that plant down and secure themselves another round. So 2-2 now, Elijah.
Exactly that. Naughty Sausages being able to find their composure amongst all of the pressure from Trident, just getting their picks left, right, and center. I do like them being able to read into what's going on, and they repositioned themselves to get one person on the plant and another person to watch it from those main breaches, and in the end, it did get you the round. So Naughty Sausages, I like their mental. They're not feeling the pressure too much. They're very calm and collected, and that's exactly how you need to be when you're this late into the season. They'll have to test their luck now as they've moved to the gym bedroom.
Yeah, and we did see Trident win this site earlier, so They gotta be careful, Naughty Sausages. They can't let too many rounds slip. I mean, you know, 4-2 split isn't that bad. That's a good sort of split to have, especially being on the attack on Clubhouse. But you want to keep it sort of in your favor. If you're able to go, you know, to that defense when you're in the favor of that 4-2 split, it's just going to make it that 10 times easier for you. But right now it's even Steven. It's anybody's game. And honestly, I don't know who is playing better right now. It's sort of back and forth. But if the story reigns true, Elijah, Trident should win this round.
A bit of an interesting one I was going to bring up just earlier. You see the way that Trident plays their spar. Look at the wall. It is never reinforced. And that's exactly what happened in the round that they won. They didn't reinforce it. So when I told you earlier that yes, they did get the spar, technically they did, but it was forfeited by Trident. They are the ones who left it soft and open for them to take, and they're going to do the exact same thing this time, but only this time Naughty Sausages have stacked outside of that spar angle as well. Sweat to open up the very first blood in the round, that'll be your knock removed, so if you were trying to go for that potential lurk, it's already been dealt with, and you're going to leave yourselves a one-man disadvantage.
Yeah, the thing is, though, we're seeing this Brava come into play. We don't get to see a lot of Brava, but she's making use of this drone and able to hack that ADS, so maybe that can come into play later on. But she's an interesting sort of operator. We mainly see her in comp play to sort of take control of those default cams, but it has its little sort of niches here and there. And we've been seeing a lot more of her, which we like to see. But halfway into the round, and they're starting to try and get rid of these castle barricades, and Taz, he's going to eliminate that OCE shield to deny that sort of transparent view onto that through that CC window. But Hill's able to find Sweat, and that is a good frag. He's obviously got that C4 below that Valkyrie, but no longer being able to be in play. But Shuri's trying to get aggressive on this toilet player, but he's just waiting it out, playing it patient for now. I'm waiting for him to swing him, but he has the better engagement there, and that's his second of the round. 2v4 for Naughty Sausages. Now make that a 4v1 as life goes down.
Oh, look at the aggressive shotgun, though, from Hugh. He's able to clean him up, and he'll find 2 to win that round as well. Wow, Trident, with another successful answer to Naughty Sausages, will take themselves above, and a 3-2. Now, the best that you can ask for now is a 3-3 split for Naughty Sausages. Now, that has been the narrative, right? Has been a Trident win, then a Naughty Sausages win, or rather a Naughty Sausages win, then a Trident win, and so forth. You could expect that this will be Naughty Sausages due for a win, but maybe Trident have awoken, right? They're running the exact same lineup that we have seen them do in that armory every single time. It was unsuccessful the first time, but they ended up fixing up their issues that second time, going to armory. Now they've done their full cycle, they will head back to it, see if they can pull it off yet a third time, but running the exact same lineup over and over again on the exact same site, you can imagine that that gives Naughty Sausages room to read into.
Yeah, for sure. As well as the only thing that I haven't seen Naughty Sausages do is that they're bringing a lot of this intel, Trident. And Naughty Sausages, they have the IQ available, but they aren't choosing to utilize it. And I think it sort of might be costing them. I don't know how much impact these Valkyrie cams have had, but it's huge for the defense, in my opinion. And not running that IQ, it could cost you, whether it's a C4 or whether it's just there feeding the info to the defenders. It just gives them that advantage. So I think a bit of a missed opportunity from Naughty Sausages, but maybe they don't need it. Maybe they know where the positions of these cameras will be placed, and maybe they have the better of it. And, you know, they do have the access to the Dokkaebi, so if they are able to eliminate one of the defenders from the board, they can then hack those cams and use it for themselves. So maybe that's the idea in mind.
I think it'll be a little bit easier for Naughty Sausages in this round specifically, because they've got 4 of those can openers plus the ace, and this time you've got less impacts than you would normally have. You've got it on Shuri, you've got it on Vigil, right? Those are usually your aggressive sort of roaming ops, but we've seen a bunker down come successfully from Trident in these last few rounds, so that could be what they're looking forward to doing. But if you were hoping on getting active on Vigil, or maybe even onto the Solus, you need to make sure that you are staying up and ready to use those impacts when you are needed, as it is already coming into play. Nice little
Yeah.
C4 by Papa's able to connect onto Yoa's life, and that'll remove your Dokkaebi, making it just that easier to play a position without being disturbed by a potential FaceTime call.
Yeah, we don't want FaceTimes from Dokkaebi. You know, we're in the middle of a sort of war here. We don't have time for you, Dokkaebi, sorry. But minute 30 in the round, and that is the time. And Harry, he's on the bottom of the main stairs. He wants to find a pick here, try and work that pick back to even up the man count. But for the most part, Naughty Sausages, they want to try and get this hatch open. They've been struggling in the previous rounds, and I would imagine that, you know, Ace, he's only got 2 Ace charges left, so he can only sort of work one more try before he sort of can't get that hatch open. But they are going to be able to open up that moto hatch, thanks to the can openers of the Amaru and the Buck. But I don't quite know if they're going to be able to open up that kitchen hatch. For the now, it stays closed, and they're going to try and open up this triple wall, but it is muted. And they don't have access to any EMPs, so for now, that's going to stay closed, Elijah.
I got good util usage coming out by Trident as well. Ash did open up that Ash run angle. Shuri will be able to capitalize on that kill and clean up Orion, but nice little angles setting up by Naughty Sausages will be able to clean up Shuri with no issues and take it to a 4v3. But a 4v2 as Papa utilizes the shotgun, clean Hail off nice and easy. As Trident looking quite strong in round 6 now. Harry, he has found himself in Arsenal though. No kills to go out just yet. They are all aware of his position, but Hills is supporting him by the Trides as well. But Hills is going to be able to find a kill into Pew and make it just that much easier now. But immediate trade will leave it up to a 3v1 now. All left for Hills, but the Pistol of Sweat in an awkward engagement will be able to clear it up. And a 4-2, I believe.
Yeah, 4-2 for Trident, so that's definitely a good defense half, you know. If it was a 3-3, it might be a bit, you know, how's it going? But 4-2, that's pretty good, and you give yourself some wiggle room in terms of if you don't have that momentum on the attack, you have those 2 rounds to sort of work with. But for Naughty Sausages, they're on the back foot now, but they do have that defense, so it's a bit of a trade-off. It's a bit of a trade-off, but something that we are seeing Naughty Sausages doing already that we didn't see Trident do. They're bringing that mirror. You know, mirror has been in play, but Trident didn't choose to utilize it. So we're already seeing them play it a little bit differently, and they're bringing that Wamai as well. So we've seen Wamai do some damage, not just in terms of his ability, but that 1.5, man. It's just something different.
You love it, especially on Clubhouse.
I do, but something that we don't see as much on Clubhouse, on the attacking side, is we're seeing that fuse. So on both sides, the adaptation, Elijah.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I wanted to bring up. Papa running that fuse in general. Now, we got to see on the side of Naughty Sausages being on their attack, they struggled a lot to try to open up that kitchen hatch specifically because the tricks were just too much for them. Now, bringing that fuse is definitely going to help a lot with that because it will remove the space that the impact trigger has from playing underneath that hatch. Potentially, you can pick yourself up a frag, or maybe it will be too much pressure for him to try to stick around to potentially impact it there. You'll have to do it from a very long angle, which is a little bit harder to impact trick because it's from a fair distance. You need to know the exact arc of the impact, but I won't put it behind these players to know. Now we'll see how they can push up though. But first, they have to clear out these roamers. They've got all the util to do so. Sebi is running that Dokkaebi.
Yeah, the good thing about Fuse as well is he has those can openers. So if one of your players, that Ace or that Buck that, you know, unfortunately falls, you have that Fuse that also has them. So you can do that destruction of the floor, remove that impact trigger, as well as open the hatch. So Fuse, he can do it all. He also has a great gun.
I feel like lately in Siege, Spetnaz is becoming more of a trendy thing, right? Being able to use Fuse as becoming more common recently, as well with the changes to Tachanka. There's another Spetnaz operator that has become more popular in the coming seasons of Siege, getting that 2 times as well being added. Fuse already doing a lot of work in terms of the soft destruction though. Definitely adds a lot of pressure for Naughty Sausages to hold in the bottom side of that arsenal.
Well, it's just, you know, it's efficient. You don't have to worry about the Buck wasting all these skeleton keys to sort of tear up that kitchen floor from Logi. You can just sort of fuse it, and it just does the same sort of thing. But You can then save it for things like this, creating quick rotations between these hatches, so you don't have to go all the way through lounge and risk getting shot from secret or the like. You're able to create your own sort of rotates and your own sort of doorways. And I'm liking it. But 2 minutes into the round now, and Trident, they got to start getting a move on. They do have these mirrors that they might have to deal with. And Hale, he looks like he's ready to C4 on the drop sound of Trident in this moto. So they got to be careful of that. And if multiple people drop that, that could be detrimental. But 40 seconds on the clock. They got to start to work something now.
It looks like he's getting really antsy about dropping that hatch, and the execute will come underway as the Leisure Mines all get popped. Zebi will get it into his angles there. 2 players lined up on top of the moto hatch. The proxy alarms will ring away to reveal the positions of the players. Harry M will find himself down, and a nice drop will be into moto. Will find 2. Papa will be able to clean up Harry M, but no C4 will see anyone, as Orion and Yo's Life will be able to clean up a nice little trade for both of them. And just a flurry of kills coming out by Naughty Sausages will find themselves. Was that a flawless? No, I believe one was removed, but was really close.
Yeah, I do believe it was not a flawless, just because Harry was, you know, to fall there. And for the most part, Naughty Sausages, they held their ground well, even with all the tricks up the sleeve from Trident. They just weren't able to work their way through the way that they wanted. They killed that player in blue, but they chose to sort of swing and contest that mirror head on, and I think that ultimately cost them a player there, and sort of hard to deal with. Mirror, very annoying character, and I think Naughty Sausages, they win the first defense, and I think that's good. You know, they were 2 rounds down. Now they're only 1 round down. They're going to opt to go to this cash CC side, but they're opting to bring the Jaeger and the Wamai. All of the util denial to come and hopefully stop them, but they don't have any wall denial. Obviously, Thatcher is in play. They could have bandit tricked because there is no Zephyr, but they are bringing a Capital, so they got to be careful of that as well. So, luckily, they do have that Wamai, Elijah.
Yeah, we might buy the ADSs as well, and it's definitely going to help you, especially in terms of trying to hold out these rafters as long as possible. It's going to be a little bit easier though, as on this half, Naughty Sausages running the Bunty a lot on their half, but Trident, they're not looking to do the exact same thing as them. They're going to trade out that for just 5 guns instead. So they're going to have to try to get these main walls open. It will be easier, like you said, because they don't have any of that denial to be a pain in their side. Make it a lot easier. But they're definitely looking to hold down this garage though. You can see Orion who's running those frost mats, and I did dare to catch one that were on top of those main stairs as well. Papa's being a little bit cautious of potential tricks, but none to go at though. Shuri will find the first blood, be able to remove that warden from play. And that'll become really handy later on when you're trying to go for your execute, because he won't be able to see through the smokes.
Yeah, having that Capital is definitely useful for those executes, able to cut off those lines of sight and, you know, sort of work your way around the bomb site. But Harry M, he's now sort of stuck here on these rafters. It is only the bottom part of his single wall that is open, but it sort of leaves him no room to sit here on the rafters. He's only able to sort of lie down for the most part, so he's got to be careful. But Pew, he did find one onto Orion, so that's your Frost off the board. All of her util is down, but I do believe one ran out of the main door. It was Hills, and that'll be your bottom garage player. So Shuri, he's able to find one back onto Harry M, and that's your rafters play. But Hale, he's down here in the oil pit, and the other one I do believe was in pool, but they're aware of it. They know.
They know us. I do. Must have been a pre-placed camera that Trident are so good at setting up for themselves, and they'll put themselves in a really good position of a 3v1. But if there's anybody to be in this position, it will be Hills to be able to pull it back for his team, if it is possible at all, that is, as he is left in a rough situation. We'll drop down to the lounge, and it'll be immediately given away as the pre-fires will go through, but none to connect to lose any damage just of yet, though. He will try to trade back that damage, but no one to be seen just yet. They are playing back and a little bit more passive to secure themselves another round. Now Hills going for that garage take first to be able to reveal himself. Doesn't know where the positions are, but he will trade it in the end. But thanks to the man advantage, Trident will take the round.
Good response from Trident. Obviously, it is that CC. I do believe that CC, because of this map being in the map pool for so long, CC, it used to be a very strong side, but now a lot of teams know how to attack it for the most part. And playing that Rafters is very, very difficult to stay alive, especially when your wall is open. So I think, Harry did his best to waste as much time as he could for his team. But, if you're versing a team that is capable, then they are going to shut you down eventually. And it's unfortunate. So they're going to keep things rolling. They're going to keep things moving. They don't want to go back to that CC site. They want to go to the lovely gym bedroom site. And I'd like to say this site is a lot more comfortable for more teams. As not a lot of teams know how to attack it as much as CC Cash. But for the most part, I think that Naughty Sausages, they had a pretty good idea on how to attack it. Let's see if Trident know the same.
I mean, I feel like if anybody knows how hard it is to hold those rafters from those last rounds, it'll be you, right? You're the experienced player and trying to hold rafters as soon as that main wall is open.
I am my garage combo. It's just me. It's my trademark, my signature.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to see how they can work it up. As it looks like they're going for a sort of similar push to what we saw Naughty Sausages do on their attack. This time, Trident looking to do the exact same as they start off with a CC across, be able to open up the CC main wall easily. Not a single issue there as they're running no denial yet again. But they do have the mirror in their halves as well. Have to be a little bit careful of that. Thankfully, Sweat is running that sledge and he's able to open up those castle barricades without an issue. But Pew with a nice shot, watching out those rotates that he had recently opened up. Being able to pick up that very first kill and remove the castle from play. Now, his barricades have all been set down. But that's a whole gun that you wanted to keep alive into the late rounds. And look at the angle that he got. It's a nice pick.
Very, very nice pick, and he almost was able to find the mute as well. He was playing a good position on that rappel, able to make sure that his teammate doesn't get jumped out on. And Hills did take some damage as well here in Cash, but he's able to stop the Thermite from opening up the wall, and that is a massive pick. No one able to cover him, but they still do have some hard breach on the side. They have the ace, so not all is lost, but that is a man down now, and you're back to that 4v4. Minute 30, though. Halfway in the round, they got a little bit of time to work with, but a lot more obstacles to deal with. They got these mirrors. They were able to pop the one in Logi, and Orion was able to find Pew, so that's both hard breaches gone now. And they got to be careful. 1 minute 15, 3v4.
Trident looking like they're just on the back foot just that little bit more now as they are able to clear up more members. Naughty Sausages finding their composure and being able to utilize all of their util. That mirror coming in play, making it a very hard thing for Trident to deal with. You see Orion, he's trying to play it with his life. He has to back off though as the grenades. It adds a lot of pressure for him. He hasn't got any of those ADSs or those Wamais, but Zeb is able to clean up the kill onto Hills, take it to a 3v2 now as he's able to find Orion as well in the process. And that'll leave it down to a 3v2, but Shuri's not looking too good in terms of HP though. So has to be a little bit careful on how he takes his engagements, but he'll be able to do it successfully as he cleans up Hale nice and easily, and it'll leave it down to just Harry M alone to clutch it out for the rest of his team, but Zeb, he'll be able to finish him up nice and easily.
Wow, the patience on Trident. They lost some picks here and there, and their hard breaches were eliminated, but they persevered. They waited for Naughty Sausages to make their plays and make their move, and they moved into the crosshairs of Trident, and now Trident, they secure that match point. 6-3 the scoreline right now, so 3 rounds separate these teams, so even if they lose, 1, maybe 2 rounds, they still have that 1 extra round to secure the game, take the W here. And as you can see at the top right there, Trident, they're in 6th place, so they're actually below Naughty Sausages. Naughty Sausages right now, sorry, my throat. But
It happens.
if they win this, I do believe they take that spot of 5th place. So it's a battle of the places right now.
And what a big statement that'll be, especially if Trident manage to win this out, and that'll add it to their tally of 4 weeks in a row without dropping a single loss and climbing from what were really low on the leaderboard to, I believe, what are they, 7th now, if I got to remember off of my memory. They're going to climb even higher. And they'll get themselves... I do believe they'll stay in that losers bracket still, but I'm rooting for Trident here. I'm not going to lie. Early on in the season, I might have been choosing a different team because Trident didn't have the best liftoff, but this is a completely different team from what we've seen at the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, though, you'll be able to lose your very first. Remember this early on in attack as Harry M. Able to find a little bit of a spawn peak and get that very first blood, being able to remove that Ayana from play.
Yeah, and that's a huge pick. That's your only nades on that side of Trident as well, so no lethals there to come, and it's definitely going to slow the push down as well, because that is probably your primary entry. So taking that space, going to be a little bit harder, but calls are going to go out, so that's going to make things a little bit easier to work out where these players are playing. But Harry's going to take a large amount of damage to that breach charge, all straight to the face of him. And Hugh's going to finish it off. Oh my god.
He just base checked the breach charge.
He did. But Hale, he's there to, you know, make an impact of his own and take down Sweat. So back to that man advantage. I think Naughty Sausages should play off that, you know. 4v3. Almost halfway into the round, and they still got to get the map control. Most of them are still outside the building. So, I think, you know, settle it down and wait it out.
That's a lot of things that teams seem to struggle with. They don't really know when to reset their defense when they have the advantage. So in the end, you'll end up giving them picks that they don't necessarily need to give up. And that is what gives the opposing team the opportunity to potentially weave their way in and find themselves another round. But it looks like Naughty Sausages, they are reading into the fact that they have that advantage, and they've rotated back down to try to bunker down with the rest of the team, and this leaves it really hard for Trident. They've got a lot left to do in terms of opening up these hatches, getting the intel for where these 4 players on the side of Naughty Sausages are, and you've still got so much UT left. Life did have a C4 left, but unless he's pre-placing it or already using it, then it will be set up nicely. Pew, though, with a nice little aggressive kill as Orion tried to collect up early, will leave it down to a 3v3 for both of these teams.
Was rather ambitious from Orion there, but Hills once again keeping his team in this, able to shut down Pew, and that's going to eliminate an angle, but it's all left to Taz to drop. But it's alright. Naughty Sausages, they bunker it down. They secure round 10, and they bring that scoreline to that 6-4.
Still on the match point though, so they can't drop a round yet if they don't want Trident to win, which they can. It's doable, right? You've switched over to the defense. It looks like Naughty Sausages have found their composure. The Trident, they only need to win 1 round though, so it could be one little tiny mistake, one little throw that could mean the end of the game entirely. And you're going to have to pull that against on a clash site as well, where Trident, I imagine, they've got to be comfortable. Like we said before, CC is the more common site to play out of all the sites in this map in general. A lot of teams know how to push it comfortably. A lot of teams know how to defend it comfortably as well. So it's very 50-50 when you take it here.
A bit of a awkward engagement between Hills and that drone there. Wasn't quite able to take it. He was able to get that one though, but he's going to be careful. Hills. What is happening?
Oh no.
He misses the first one, he secures the second, but he loses it to outside. I guess on the side of Trident, he can say Mozzie utility cleared.
Yeah.
But interesting.
How nice would it be though, if you could just pick up that drone? It's right there.
It would be nice, but we can't all have nice things.
That's true.
And Hills definitely cannot. By the looks of it, he's
Clearly,
being bullied.
Yeah.
But Life, on a pulse. We haven't seen a pulse on this site for, I'd like to say, a hot minute.
It's been a long time. I mean, usually it's very hard to play downstairs, especially on a roam clear as well. The C4 is a little bit ambitious, especially if they read into the fact that you are a pulse who's playing downstairs. I mean, all you have to do is potentially take control. What's going on here? What is happening here? Are they going for a little bit of a C4? You could potentially take 2 here, but they're getting aggressive on the breach. How to find 1 onto Pew and nothing to be traded back. Nothing at all. No punishment left for Naughty Sausages at all. They'll be able to find an easy kill. Pew falling into that engagement. I don't blame him. There's no way you could have known.
No, there isn't. But the thing is, Naughty Sausages, they're playing with each other more. They're playing together. And that is what secured that. You know, if Hale was to fall, Orion was there to back him up to at least find the trade. And, you know, being that these rounds down, that's what you want to see. But Sweat, he's not saying that we're not, you know, the Trident isn't in this round just yet. He's able to take down Orion. That's your Frost. So once again, not a all that influential operator to get rid of, but live. He might not use the pulse ability right now, but he's able to utilize the C4 and take down not one, but two on that garage door. But Sweat, he is the all-seeing eye, and once again, taking down another player for the side of Naughty Sausages, but he gets taken out by Harry. It's all left to Taz creeping up these red stairs, but Naughty Sausages, they're aware and they're ready to get into this overtime, Elijah.
Oh, I'm so... I'm taking it back by that C4 toss from life. What? Oh. I mean, one kill? Yeah, sure. Right? A double, you've got to be so proud of that, right? You've got to be so proud. It looks like Trident will take their timeout. They are on match point, and this is the best time to use it. You could potentially reset your mental for the what could be the very last round. But judging by these last 2 rounds by Naughty Sausages, winning 2 in a row, they're quite happy. And they're not looking to let this game slip up at all. And looks like it's a game of 2s at the moment. Except for the very first half. You see Trident, they're usually winning 2 after trading 2. You haven't really seen a streak like this from Naughty Sausages, but they've began to get there too. Normally they would win 1, as you can see by the attack and the defense scoreboard that we've got. But Naughty Sausages now finding their streak. You can imagine that they're not going to let the next round slip up either. Maybe they're looking to change that 2s and turn it to a 3.
Well, they can't just look, they have to do, because this is match point still for Trident. They've been on the match point for the last 2 rounds, I should say. But, 3 rounds actually. But if they lose this, if Naughty Sausages can't maintain the streak, that's GG, that's game over. But I'd imagine after that timeout, Trident, they might have cleared their head a little bit. But still, for the most part, Naughty Sausages, they've got the momentum. They've won the last 2 rounds. They're feeling themselves right now, and they're working together super well. So if they can do that once again on this gym site, it's going to be looking rough for Trident.
Well, I gotta say that last time when they tried to attack here specifically, Mirror was a huge problem, but they run it again, and they're gonna have to change up the way that they played against it, because last time it was such a pain in the side of Trident trying to take any control. They did lose a lot of members, or HP rather, just based from the outside in, you know, losing those castle barricades this early on. It was super huge for Naughty Sausages and Trident. But they're going to have to deal with that again, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they can take this. They're immediately going for a CC across, this time with some denial to make it just that much harder for them to burn out that time.
Yeah, the thing is, though, they've got the Pulse again, so Life, maybe Pulse is his lucky charm. Maybe he can bless his C4 arc again and find another. But Taz, he's just going to play this Repel. They're going to sort of... Oh, that's an interesting drone.
I like that. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. It's not a drone you see all the time to watch that play, but it's an interesting one. They're going to start to drone below, make sure there's no C4s for when they walk in, but they should be aware of this player playing top red. I do believe Taz would have made that call, but Hale, he could do some damage. He is Alibi. This is a strong weapon, and he has done some damage in the previous round. We saw him swing the breach before. Is he going to do it again?
I like how well Naughty Sausages are playing around each other at the moment, knowing when to rotate away, but a nice little timing there by Trident. with the grenade and the swing by Shuri is able to clean up Hale nice and easily and put yourselves in that man disadvantage. Harry, though, trying to go for a flank because they were able to successfully get Shuri, remove him from play. But immediate communication by Trident is able to get that trade back. So you are unable to confirm the kill onto Shuri. And a mirror. That's going to be dealt with now as well as Orion has forced to let up that logistics control and give it up to Trident.
Yeah, and Harry, he is quite low. He's on that about 20, maybe 30, actually, HP. So he's going to be careful of the engagements he takes. And he's stuck in this corner now as Pew droning down below, making sure that there's no one on that cheeky lurk with a potential C4 or whatnot, as Pulse is still in play. But Harry, he's got a nice angle here. He's able to click in time. He might be able to swing the side in his team's favor, but it's now or never. Trident, they need to win this to secure the W. Otherwise, Naughty Sausages, they go to this overtime. But a bit of a misclick from Harry. He thought he was going to push, but he's going to fall. And here we go. It all starts to fall. Life. He finds one. He finds two. Can't find the third. And Trident, a close victory nonetheless, but victory all the same. 7-5 Elijah, and wow, what a game.
What a game indeed, setting the pace for the rest of tonight. Hopefully Trident taking that W nice and easily as well, or rather hard fought, I would rather say, sorry. It was a very close game, but they'll be able to add themselves another tick to their win streak as they go on a 4-week win streak at the moment, and we get to see our lovely man himself, Sally, to join the interview in just a moment. But a game that has started us off today, KJ, and has been so exciting. I can't wait to see the rest of them.
Yes, and obviously we get to see it on your lovely clubhouse that you do love to see. And I do believe that means that both teams are on 4 wins, 4 losses, but I think that Naughty Sausages for the moment still secure that 5th place, as they do have that better round differential. But, you know, Trident taking that another win in the belt, the boys are going to feel good after that one. You know, not only did you show up today, you've been showing up these last few weeks, and I don't know, you know, you've been putting in the work clearly, and it's paying off. So they're going to be celebrating. They're going to be celebrating. And I think, you know, if they choose to play next season, they're definitely, I'd say, be a team to look out for with the way that they're playing at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been on such a successful run just these last few Playdays, not only just here, but from everywhere from what I've seen. So, I mean, you got to be quite happy. You could imagine how happy as a team they are in general, right? The sort of team morale that they've had, successful here and there, all over the place. I could imagine that this is worth celebrating, right? You got to be happy with your coach as well. I mean, what like we say every single week, what are they feeding them? And it's got to be something. I want what they're having because they've just been so well rehearsed on their maps.
Yeah, they've definitely got something in their diet at the moment. Sally's feeding them something. He's got something in the sauce, I'd say, but we're ready to have the interview, and here he is, the beautiful man himself. Sally, how are we doing today?
Hello. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my camera. How's it going?
You're all good, my man. How are you doing? I mean, we may as well just keep you in the voice chat at all times, every single time that you play, because you're just always in our interviews now. Your team just being so successful, adding yet another tick, a 4-week win streak for you boys. How are we feeling together as a team?
Yeah, no, I think the start we had in terms at the start of the season was definitely one of those things where you get like punched back to back to back, and then it's like you're just on the ropes, and you know, you're sitting there and you're like, what do we do? And sort of like we just had an honest conversation with the boys, right? Like what do we want to do? We know like we had to have some subs in for some of those first games, and even when we did have like our core roster, we were still like a bit desynced and losing those games. So like, what do we do? And we came up with a solution, and yeah, it's been roses ever since.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful to see. Obviously, you know, something that you guys have been doing in your training is clearly working. And I think, not only are you guys, a good bunch of blokes, but you're putting in the effort, and I'm keen to see you continue to put in the effort. But like with the maps, like it's not just one map that you're good at. We've seen you be consistent across all these maps these last few play days. And is Clubhouse something that you expected for today, or is that something you've been working on to get better at, or what's the go with it all?
Yeah, I had that written down in the books. No, I'm joking. No, we did expect Clubhouse. Just because a lot of teams, it's a pretty neutral map. You have teams who like certain out maps, like maybe you'll see the theme park or the skyscraper here and there. But oftentimes, especially when it's that BO1, you're just gonna see repetitive maps like Oregon and Clubhouse. So once we knew that, we were like, we have to be at least competitive on these maps. And yeah, we definitely had to go back and think about how we wanted to play our Clubhouse and just scrim it. Yeah, and the boys, I think as a team, we enjoy like the effort that we're putting in, right? We balance it well with our own lives, and enjoy playing comms. So yeah.
Awesome. It's very fun to see you guys put in the work, and you're getting so much success out of it. So just as usual though, I mean, before we head off to our next game, do you have anything to say for maybe your teammates, maybe a warning for the next teams that you go against in the very soon playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what might happen, especially this last week, but I'm glad that, we put the games in our own hands, right? And didn't leave it up to chance with like other teams losing and whatnot, right? We played well in these weeks, and hopefully during playoffs, right, we'll be prepped, and we know where we came short against some of the higher tier teams or the higher placed teams currently, right? So yeah, watch out a little bit. But as usual, thanks to everyone. I thought I heard
No, you're good.
Discord disconnect.
No, you're
Yeah. I was saying, as usual, thank you guys for the cast. And thanks everyone for watching. The boys should be proud of themselves. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sal. We'll see you next time, because I doubt it'll be the last.
Yes, thank you, Sally.
Man, what a exciting very first game of the night, KJ. I can imagine that there's so much more for us to see.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always good to have these interviews. We get that insight into how the teams are doing, not just after the wins, but just in general with their practice and whatnot. And it's always good, especially Sali. The Trident boys, I did say they're all very, very lovely, but it's good to see them putting in the work as well. And it's paying off, and maybe we'll get to see more of Sali in the coming weeks. But we're going to move to these next games. But before we do, shout out to Blackjack, the owner of Trident. Your boys won once again. Elijah and I have blessed your team with the W's. But with this next game coming up, Elijah, it is, I do believe, that Nutty versus NDE. So I'm keen to see it. But are we going to a break beforehand?
Yeah, just a short one. We will be heading to just a little break, just so we can get, incorporated and ready for the next game. So if you guys are ready as well, definitely feel free to stick around, because we won't be long at all, and we'll move into our next game very shortly. But until then, we'll see you guys soon.
See you guys soon.